Welcome back. Missed you. We are now working on this section. So go ahead and find these orange and purple squares by zooming in with Command +, and crawl your way around with spacebar and the mouse. And what everyone's going to do is find the font tool, and you're going to be on your layer, which should not be locked. And you're going to click and drag to make a nice big window. And you're going to type in the first letter of your first name, or the first letter of your last name, or any number of parts to your name. However, just keep it to one letter at a time. So in my instance, it's going to be, I'm going to try the whole shebang, the whole Cedric. You can also enlarge the letters, not just by clicking and dragging. You actually have to make it larger by going into the character menu and making it larger this way. Or I believe if you click out of it, oh, no, it still doesn't do it. All right, so you'll have to just make the letter as big as you can, or at least a quarter of the size of this box. So in this case, a 72-point font means that it's like an inch high. There's 72 points in an inch. Here's a bunch of the letters I'm going to use. And I'll just do a shorthand for my name. See. And I'm able to select this because everything else underneath is locked. And I'm going to scroll down next. And now you're going to use the paintbrush tool and do the same letter. So if yours was a C, you would draw a C. For me, I'm going to make sure that I'm on a regular swatch or a regular brush. Yeah, this is a 5-point round, letter C. We'll see what happens if I do this one, an E, but maybe I'll change it to a different type of brush, maybe a calligraphy brush that's more of an oval or a flat shape. And then I'll do another one just to see how this turns out of the D, also drawn with the paintbrush, and also made into an unusual shape using brushes. If you don't see calligraphy tools, you can actually click the little library of books. And I believe it's under artistic and calligraphic. And it gives you all these options where you can click and drag them over, or you can just double click them and it will add them to your brushes. And it will also change the shape for you. So I've got these separate things. What are we going to do with them? We need to turn them into outlines. The way we turn these into outlines, so I'm going to select all three of these, the D, the E, and the C, go to Object, Expand Appearance. Or you could also select each one individually and go to Object, Expand. Either way, it changes our path into a shape. And you can see that there's even shapes that kind of overlap each other. What I do then is go to Pathfinder and use Merge. Merge is going to get rid of all of those overlapping little bits and make it a little bit cleaner. The C doesn't need anything. Zooming back out with Command -. And now for something fun called the it's a blend tool. So we won't, even though it's on the side, we don't use the blend tool here. What I do is I select just one letter at a time. So the C, I'm going to connect it with the C. And you'll go to Object, Blend, Blend Options. Now I want to have, just in this case, 4 steps. It might be under smooth color at first. You want to select from the menu specific steps. We don't want as many as 10. We just want a shape in between these shapes. So I'll say 4, and we're not aligning to a path. It's just going to align to the page. And click OK, and nothing happens. After you click OK, go back to the object, then go to Blend, and then it should say Make. Let's see, why are you not making anything fun for me? Object expand. Expand, I'm glad this made an error for me. The reason nothing happened, these are still fonts. They are not quite, they're not usable yet. So I need to go to each one of these or select all of them, go to type, not object, type, because they're fonts, create outlines. Yay, now they are shapes that I can work with. Zoom back out. Oops. Now let's try this again. This C and this C, when they come together and they meet, and then they blend, now I can see make. I like mistakes, it makes things easier to see. And now this is making 4 different versions of steps that are somewhere between this C and that C. It's very subtle, you can't necessarily tell, but it's like I've created my own font somewhere between my own crappy eye-hand coordination computer and a perfect font. You will also notice that it's going to do something weird with enclosed shapes, like this E that has an enclosed shape in the middle. You could either use it or delete it. We'll just see what happens when we go to Object, Blend, and Make. It's going to use the same exact settings as the previous one. And you can see that it's like kind of taking 2 different E's and shrinking one while it kind of inverts the other. So that's one thing that happens. I also Control Z to undo it just to show what would happen if I use my direct selection tool and maybe get rid of the center of the E. Let's see what happens now between this E and this E. Oh, looks like there's still something weird in the center. If you notice anything like kind of pop up, you can also hit merge again, and it should get rid of any invisible lines that are in the center. Okay, so those are selected, both the E's are selected. Object, blend, make. And now you can see that it's a lot smoother between this shape and that shape. But just for fun, we're going to keep the D with its donut hole in the middle. Object, blend, make. And you can see what kind of interesting shape you get. Now that we've got, I personally have 3 options. You may only have 1. You can try different things in there. But I like this strange D. I'm going to work with this. So now go to Object, Expand, Expand Object and Fill. Okay. Sometimes you have to do it again, Expand, just to be safe than sorry. And then I'll just ungroup them. Now I should be able to use my direct selection tool to just grab just this composite D and none of the other Ds. I'm going to zoom out again. And this is going to be my starting idea. So make this fairly big, just so it fills up your area. And copy this over to all of the boxes that say starting idea. I zoomed out and I'm just kind of plopping them in because I know that I can just select all 3, Control C, Control V, or Command C, Command V. And it's just a way to do things in multiples faster. And that's where you should be by this step.